3 minutes, and we are waiting for some participants to get participated in this AR/VR FTP. So please bear with me for another maximum 3 to 4 minutes, please. A very good morning to all present here. I would once again welcome you all for the 5-day FTP on AR/VR technologies day 4 sessions. I would like to extend my welcome to Dr. Syed Ali Fatima ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Kumaraguru College of Technology, Coimbatore. She has a wide area of expertise in data sciences, artificial intelligence, augmented virtual reality, and programming. She got her PhD in November 2019 from Anna University, Chennai, and she got her master's in 2014, and she got her bachelor's in engineering in 2005 from Hindustan College of Technology, Hindustan College of Engineering, Anna University, Coimbatore, and she got more than 13 years of experience, comprising of 6 years industry and 6+ years of teaching experience, and she has been designated in various prestigious institutions ranging in Libya, India, and Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore, etc. So I would like to welcome you, ma'am. It's an honor to have you here, and you can take over the session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you for your warm welcome, sir. Yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my experience and knowledge in AR and VR technology. So good morning all. So though this is not a new technology, it is now getting the attention because of the advancement in technologies of processing, memory speed, and so on, right? Okay. So today I would like to share or give you an idea of the development of AR and VR application using the gamification approach, and also I will share you a few of the applications that is being developed by me with our team. Okay. Yeah. So I'll be sharing you the screen with you now.
Yes, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So, have you ever heard the term gamification? Uh, Gamification. Have you ever heard? Okay. So gamification is nothing but it's a technique that is applying the artificial intelligence based gameplay to stimulate an activity in any application domain. Okay, so it is like integrating the game mechanics to motivate the participation of the participants, that is users, with the huge engagement, entertainment, immersion, and loyalty, even in the domains that is not with the gaming context. So that is the idea of gamification. So even for any application domain, we can make it as a gamification approach to engage the participants with a higher level of motivation. And this techniques, employing this technique will develop higher motor and cognitive skills, and virtual augmented reality supports gamified approach because it provides multi-sensory feedback with diverse action levels to explore the real world environment virtually. So you can give a flavor of any kind of real world environment, that is simulated way, in a virtual manner, so that user can experience it as if he is in the real world. So it encourages users to stick on to the program of concern. So this kind of approach can be implemented in any kind of application domain. And as I said, it can be done in aerospace and defense, consumer electronics, industrial applications and automations, medical and commercial markets as well. So what is the principle that has been used from the gaming technique with the AR and VR? So what are games? First of all, games, we all know, it is engaging activity with this which is constrained by set of rules. Okay, unlike movies, it is providing us a competitive environment where there is a prominent of winning and losing case. So it requires fully tuned attention and engagement. Only then the user can participate in the games, right? So, and it gives a level of motivations. The gaming principle includes various level of feedback, right? And the player needs to play the game, and it motivates with the rewards and punishments, right? And there is a goal to achieve, and there is a difficulty level as we move on with the game, and there is a change and flow which we follow, and failures. These are all the essential parts which are the gaming principles which can be developed, okay, for gamification application to encourage engagements with a product or service in any application domain. Then, so to start with any VR or AR, any gaming applications, we have to have graphics in our thing. So there are certain things we need to start with. Okay, so first of all, we need to have, we'll start with the gaming objects. So gaming objects are the smallest building blocks of any AR VR application. Okay, it is called as assets. Okay, so it is nothing but a 2D or a 3D model. Any game scene which you are creating will be containing all the assets, okay, integrated with each other such that it will make a scene for you. So 3D model, when you consider, it is nothing but an object that is made up of multiple triangles. Okay, more number of triangles will mean it will give you a better graphics. Okay, for example, if you see here, so 60 triangles will make a picture like this, and when we build the same picture with 60,000 triangles, then it will give you a sharper image, and this is one of the assets you can be used in your gaming scene. So this kind of 3D models can be developed using the software like Autodesk Maya, Autodesk Mudbox, Blender, 3ds Max, okay, Substance Painter. There are so many variety of modeling softwares available using which you can develop your 3D model. But to start with the development of AR VR applications, it is not necessary that you need to build the 3D models. There are already available 3D model databases available, like GrabCAD Community Library, Cult 3Ds. Okay, there are so many libraries available where we can readily get the 3D models free, or it can be owned. You can buy the 3D models whichever you are interested with, and you can build your own scene. Okay, so the basic building model is a asset, that is game object. So using the game object, we will create a scene. Okay, it is nothing but a simulation screen scene, or it is a 360-degree content creation. As far as AR is VR is concerned, virtual reality is concerned, you have to create a scene that have the 360-degree content in it. Okay. So look at this scene. So what you can see in this, so this picture gives you a reality in this, right? So there are some various level of graphic effects that has been applied to this picture. Okay, so can you identify any of the graphic effects that has been applied to this picture to make it more real? Can anyone? What are the different graphic effects that has been applied to get more reality into this picture? Yes. What you can see in this picture, and what do you think? Is this give you? Is this picture giving you a reality into the reality? There are some graphic effects that has been applied to this picture to give you more realistic, to make it realistic. So what are the effects you could see in this picture? Anyone want to give it a try? Yes? No? Okay, fine. So there are, see, creating a scene just like that, if you're, I mean, integrating just the 2D or 3D into the picture will not make it more realistic. So there are so much of graphical effects you need to apply to the picture, only then it will give you a realistic feeling when you, I mean, when you develop this kind of applications. So there are different level of graphic effects which makes the scene amazing, eye-gasmic, and jaw-dropping. Okay, so these are all few of the basic graphic effects that can be applied to the picture. You have like bloom, okay, then depth of field. Depth of field is nothing but blur everything after a certain distance from a player. So if you see here, so here you can find the trees, okay, that has been blurred. So this gives you some realistic feel, right? So this kind of thing is a depth of field. Okay, then anti-aliasing, it's nothing but smoothing the jagged surface. And ambient occlusion, it is like shading and rendering the images. Okay, it provides the shading, sharpness of the image. Ambient occlusion is sharpening the image. Then you have lightning, shadows, okay, so which has been applied over here. Lightning, shadows, here are the shadows, okay, which is making it more real, and the proper lighting effect has to be applied. Okay, so then many more, there are reflections. Okay, there are many more that has to be considered when you make a graphical scene. Okay, so bloom, nothing but this one. So this gives a bloom effect. Okay, to give the reality. Depth of field, it's like blurring the object, okay, from a certain distance, okay, from the user. So this is ambient aliasing. Okay, this is aliasing, that is smoothing the jagged surface. This ambient occlusion, that is sharpening the image. So this is one of the effect. Then lightning, so proper lightning, so should be given. So when you develop a dark rooms with the lightning coming out of it, so if you have watched the horror movies using VR, you might have noticed this. Okay, so the proper lightning has to be given, and also shadow effect. So shadow effect, so these are all effects that has been developed in the scene. Apart from the graphic effects, to make the application to work, we need to consider the other aspects as well, right? So it is like interfacing and integration part, so which involves some AI algorithms in it, an animation part, and the gaming states or application states using which we develop our application. What is the next state and so on. And there should be a lot of physics working on it, and the camera, where to view and so on. The user interface, how the user will interact with the things, and the input. So the sensors, mostly our VR and AR application will be working along with the sensor inputs and output to view the thing. For example, for AR, if you're going with mobile AR, then you will have a mobile phone with all the sensors to grab the location and so on. And VR will have the sensors like Kinect, Leap Motion Control to track the motion. Motion controllers and sensors will be the input devices. Then audio feedback will make use of speakers and headsets. And all this happens in an application in 60 times, the minimum of 60 times per second to make it running. Okay, it is called as frames per second, FPS. So frames per second is nothing but any gaming application or VR, AR application. So you will the scene will get rendered, right? So it will get rendered. The graphic objects whichever you're creating, it's getting rendered on the screen. So it is called as frames per second. Okay. See here, the frames per second is very important, because if you set the proper value to the frames per second, will make it more realistic, and it will if the FPS is set in the, see here, it is moving fast, right? So this is not set in the proper way, so it is moving fast, so it will cause distortions to our eyes. Okay, so the proper FPS has to be set. So this is small 30 FPS and 60 FPS will make our eyes to watch the screen. Okay, whatever objects on the screen has to be rendered in the proper way. So we'll set a frames per second. How many frames per second? So it will cause, if FPS cannot be maintained properly, it will cause visual artifacts or tearing. And also it cannot render the triangles or graphic effects in the images properly. Okay, so it will make the users to have a disinterest, and also it will cause strain to our eyes. Okay, so it is very important for any application, VR and AR application development. So why we say that? Because when you take a game or a game, so see here, so it is a continuous running. So it is unlike our other application like WhatsApp or whatever other applications we see. When we open the application, it will just have a single background process. But as far as a game is concerned, it is continuously running in the loop. Okay, so this is there are multiple background process running inside the loop. Okay, and we in addition to that, the user also will interactively play with this. So this makes the games to have higher to occupy the higher RAM space as well. Okay, so this is called as gaming loop. So whenever we have the process input, update game and render, so this will happen immediately. This will happen that is 60 times. That's the minimum. Okay, 60 times per second, per minute. So this will keep on going on. So it is called as a gaming loop. Okay, so as a user plays with the game, it will take the input, it will update the game, then render it. So this is the gaming loop that is happening, like as per frames per second. So when you play a game in your mobile phones or in a system, this gaming loops make your RAM to be occupied, and it needs a larger space to run these kind of applications. So VR experience with insufficient frame rate and high latency. High latency is nothing but the delay in viewing the picture, right? So that could cause nausea and motion sickness. That's why whenever you have you experienced ever the 3D movies or 7D movies with the virtual headsets, or with the specs, VR specs, right? So when we watch that movies, so most of them will have the effect of nausea and motion sickness, and even they will vomit, or they will have what to say, a headache or something like that when watching the VR applications. If you have experience, you would know that, note that, because these are all happening because of the insufficient frame rate and higher latency levels. Okay, so it is required to require the latency between any head movement. So research shows that the latency between any head movement and displaying the corresponding visual feedback on the screen should be less than 20 ms. So if you are not able to maintain this, then your scene will become, it will cause sickness to the users there, you experiencing the VR. But what is the difference between game and VR is that all the games are like will takes place in 3D. Though we are having 3D objects in the game, the output is only in the 2D screen, right? So the user will not get the full effect of the games when he or she are playing the games, because still it is in the 3D developed with the 3D objects. It is shown as a 2D. So when it becomes reality is that when the user is immersed into the gameplay, right? So this is possible with the help of head mounted displays. Yes, so by wearing this head mounted display, so you can get into the scene, that is virtually simulated scene, and the user will become a part of it. So that is the use of HMD. So there are high level to lower level HMDs available. So that cost from like 2 lakh to 350 rupees. Okay, so there are so one or two such HMDs of high level involves Oculus Rift. Then we have HTC Vive. Okay, and at the lower level we have like virtual boxes, right, where you can fit in your mobile into that and you can view the VR movies or scenes. Yes, if you wish, I can show you this VR box. Can you see this VR box? Are you able to see this? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we have a part in it, and we can fit in our mobile over here, and it can be mounted on our head to see the picture into this. So this is just costing like 350 rupees, where you can buy this from any Amazon or any website, and you can experience the VR application that is available in the net. It is available. So VR movies are available, and you can watch this with a compatible mobile. You can watch the VR movies using this VR headset. Okay. So what makes this what makes this that is the scene, okay, more realistic, and what is available in this HMDs to make the users to get immersed into the scene, and how can he is able to see the 3D effect in reality. So that is all with the help of the HMDs with a lens. Okay, so we have information called as depth information. So when we are at the reality, okay, at reality, when your eyes look at a particular object, what our brain will do is it will compare the image between the two eyes. Okay, but our two eyes are viewing the object, and it will compare the image between our two eyes, and it will extract the information like how far away the object is. So this is called as the depth information, which gives the 3D effect in reality. So the same principle is being used in the HMDs also. Okay, so we'll have two lenses. Okay, we'll have when you say we'll have two lenses. Okay, we'll have always two lenses in any HMDs. You can see this. Okay, so what will happen is the same image will be shown two times for two lenses. Okay, it will be same image in VR will be shown two times. Okay, so two versions of the same image are shown separately to each eye, and it will give, which gives the image depth and immerse the players into the VR world. Okay. So actually, the immersion, it should require a large field of view. That is, we are immersing into the environment, that is VR environment, and the player needs a larger field of view. But when you wear the VR device, what happens is that the field of view becomes smaller. But for immersion, we need a large display area. So when we wear that, we will be feeling that we are immersed to an environment where we have a larger area surrounding us. So how that is possible is that we are making use of large curved spherical display. Okay, that is expensive, but that can be that can be also used, but we can also use that with a lens in between the eyes and the screen to increase the field of view. Okay, we are using the lens. But what happens is that lens causes distortion. Okay, distortion is nothing but actually our the screen which we view will be like a flat surface, but the image will be like this. Okay, so it causes distortion to our eyes. So in order to prevent that, we'll make use of a technique called as a software technique. It is called as barrel distortion. Okay, which will convert the image space to this kind of okay, this which will correct the shape of the image to this. So that what happens is, so whenever we wear a head mounted display, so our lens and will be showing the image, that is two versions of the same image in this view. Okay, it is applying the barrel distortion will make you immersed into the field with a larger field of view. Yes, and using this when a user plays or in the gamification approach, it might happen. Okay, because user will completely immerse into the environment, and without knowingly will also fall when we are playing it. So we should be very careful enough when we are in the virtual reality environment playing with the headsets. Okay, and it should be enough space should be given for the installment of these systems and to play with it. So what are all possible things that can be achieved in VR is that we can track the position of VR user in the real world inside a limited space. Okay, motion controllers in hands. Okay, so this is a headset. So how can we control the properties and objects in the VR environment is that there can be some motion controllers or some joystick kind of thing so that the user can control the properties or object and interact with the object as in the real world. So there are some certain other sensors like leap motion controller which can track the fingers. Then there is a Kinect. Okay, it is a Microsoft Kinect which comes with the Xbox One. It will track the whole body. And there are so many other motion tracking sensors that can be used with VR for developing the applications. Yes. But the thing is, if we most of the VR application, the challenge is that we need to create a VR applications that is less motion, that causes motion sickness lesser. Okay, we cannot completely avoid this, but we have to develop application with the proper FPS and all the scenes correctly mapped. Okay, and also giving a proper graphical effects and so on, so that it will cause less motion sickness. But the thing is that all these things are available in the industry aspects, and it is not at into our market yet, peaked into the market yet, but it is now developing. And also, as far as VR is concerned, mobile VR is lesser implemented. It cannot be implemented completely. So we move on to a technology called as AR. Yes, so augmented reality technology with the help of mobile we can smart mobile, we can implement a lot of other AR application. That's nothing but augmented reality, which came into the market by 1990s, I hope. Yes, so this is nothing but augmented reality technology enables virtual objects to be seamlessly blended into the virtual real environment. So whereas as far as virtual reality is concerned, everything is simulated. Okay, simulated environment, and the user can immersively, non-immersively, he will play with the only with the virtual environment. Okay, but as far as AR is concerned, you are putting the virtual objects, okay, virtual objects into the real world, which is captured using the digital processing of the real scene. Okay, using the motion tracking technologies such as motion sensors, marker recognition using machine vision. So what is the approach that has been followed? Yes, yes, sir. Okay. May I continue? Yes. So what is the approach that can be followed to develop the any VR or AR application? As we do in a software engineering, so we have certain steps to follow, right? Like requirement analysis, designing, then implementation, testing, and deployment, right? Testing, maintenance, deployment, and maintenance. So we'll follow the same strategy, but in a different way. So the terms that is being used in AR VR engineering can be different, quite different. So requirement gathering, it's nothing but where we get the requirements, like when we develop animated movie or want to develop an VR application for simulating I mean a surgery or house building, like that. So what we need to gather is that what are all the assets we need to use, and how are they going to get interacted, and how it is going to be interactive with the user. So these are all the requirements gathering, and this will be depicted in the form of SRS, right? So requirements, software requirement specification. Here we'll make use of concept art, okay? So where it is depicted in terms of art, okay, and it is discussed with the client, with the user. Whether this is a requirement, and we'll proceed with the designing. So concept art describes what is the requirement as it is shown in the SRS. Then we'll follow with the designing, where we do the assets creations. So asset creation, it may not be created by the developer itself, but it can be also owned from the website available, and also there are freely 3D available 3D objects that can be used. Okay, so asset creation, so where you will import assets, and also using these assets will be creating a scene. Okay, it can be a 360-degree view if it is going to be a VR application, all with all graphics effects applied to the scene. So once we created these asserts and scenes, okay, we need to go with the implementation part, where we'll develop an interface and interaction coding. This coding involves like what are the different algorithms that can be used, like gamification approach and artificial intelligence, okay, and so on. And what are the interface that is going to be used, like HMD sensor, input sensor, okay, what is the output sensors, or what is the output device where the output is going to be rendered. So all these things has to be decided, and based on that the coding part has to be done. And finally we'll make a simulation and rendering onto the screen. So then we test the application, then deploy it. Deployment goes on. Okay, so this is a process that is used in a game engineering or any kind of VR and VR application development. So as we see here, so this is a process like asset creation, scene creations, I said, and interface interaction coding you have to do, and simulation and rendering. So a lot of things has to be done when we develop this game or AR VR application. So in order to make our work simpler and to concentrate more on design and implementation part, there are certain engines called the software engines available, and also different APIs available, that is readily available, where we can adopt that APIs, or we can make use of this game engine to develop these applications. Okay, so the game engines includes like Unity, Unreal Engine, there are CryEngine. Okay, there are few freely available, and Unity and Unreal are now widely used for any application, gaming or VR AR application development. You might have heard about Unity and Unreal Engine, I hope. As far as the AR API is concerned, we have like Google AR Core. Uh, Apple is providing ARKit. Then Unity, we have Euphoria, using which we can develop AR applications. Okay. How it's been used in education and training. So mostly AR applications can be used with education, where it gives better learning experience, okay, learning environment, and it provides the instant feedback. AR is nothing but nowadays we have a lot of AR books developed where all the pictures are getting augmented to see give the real feel of the uh, uh, image or whatever it is. So AR books are being developed. So it is promoting behavioral change and can be applied for most learning needs. Okay, for like induction and onboarding, soft skills, awareness creation, and compliance. It improves the learning performance. So how it is being used in industry is that for safety training automation where the human cannot involve. So this kind of automations can be, this can be simulated. This kind of safety training can be provided in a simulated environment. And data visualization where immersive 3D world of analyzing data can be done. Then virtual reality payments is available. Then it is providing improve the product marketing and sales. Okay. So I'll show you some example applications of how these are all happening. And healthcare. So educational surgical tools or simulators have been now developed. Invasive surgical trainer. Okay, it is like using which, like there is a program where the user can have a surgical trainer and he can do the training part. Okay, then preclinical experiments, anatomy studies, it can be done with the VR applications. Then physical rehabilitation, mostly this VR and AR is mostly explored in the area of physical rehabilitation for training the stroke patients and so on. Okay, then ultrasonography simulators. Okay, AR VR simulators provide a relatively costless opportunity for reproducible, because these involves lives, right? So medical application involves lives. So as when compared to that, it will provide it's providing costless opportunity for reproducible training under various environments and difficulty levels. Okay. Since we are working with the simulation models, it will not raise any ethical issues compared with other animals and living tissue simulation models. Hope you got some idea about the way of developing applications. That is the approach, the gamification approach that has been applied in the development of AR VR applications. Yes. So I will now share you with a different application that has been developed by our team. Okay. Sir, Balasubramani sir, do you have any doubts? You have raised your hands.
Balasubramani sir, do you have any doubt, sir? You raised your hands.
Okay, fine. So we have developed a few set of applications using VR, like fire and safety VR training. Okay, for the training of using the fire extinguisher. Okay, so how the training is being done. So that I will show you a. So the thing is that what we have so far, what we have analyzed, real life activities, that is 83% of the real life activities can be simulated in virtual reality. Okay. So why we go with this application is that, so it okay, fire and safety training methodology, that is using that is training the users, training the normal people or public to use the extinguisher Okay, how to use the extinguisher. It is not normally happening, right? And also it is an expensive one, and the people normally not come to get trained for using the fire extinguisher. So we thought of simulating this environment so that the people get an experience of how to use this extinguisher when some fire occurs around, in and around us, right? So there are four things that can be used with a fire extinguisher, like pull the pin, aim at the base, squeeze trigger, and sweep. So this is called as a past training that has been given for the operating the fire extinguisher. So this can be simulated in the virtual reality environment. So different kind of software that is used is Autodesk Maya, okay, then Quasar Suite, Substance Painter, Unreal Engine, Oculus SDK, and NVIDIA GameWorks. So these are all the software requirement. But normally to develop these kind of application, we need higher end systems, okay, because we'll be dealing most of them with the images, okay. So it will be better if you have a GPU kind of environment to develop the application. For running the application, maybe we can have a simpler systems, but for development of this application and to test it, we need a GPU systems. Okay, and also since it is an VR application, we can make use of headset. We are making use of headset to make the user to immerse into the environment. So the headset used here is Oculus Rift. Okay. So it is given. We have planned to give a gamified approach to this. So first, initially we started with asset creation, and it is like a office room, okay, which will have a table and a chairs in it, okay, and the fire extinguisher. So this has to be properly designed. So we designed this, taking the photograph, and we can make our own assets. So once one asset is created, that can be duplicated, and we can create a multiple assets of if we have if office room need to have a 10 chairs or 20 chairs. Once one chair is created, it can be multiplied, okay, it can be duplicated to create multiple chairs, and it can be fit into the environment. So once we form a 3D model of it, okay, then we'll apply texturing over the 3D models to make it over realistic. Okay. Then we go with the environment design. So where we need to apply graphical effects and proper lightnings to it. Okay. And so we have made a chairs and tables. Each and everything is a game object. Okay. Here there is a book is available. This is a table and this is a chair. Okay. This is a mirror. So everything is like a game object that is being integrated in this 3D scene. So you can see the cup here. Okay. So to give the reality feeling, so we need to develop all the games. So you can see here the dustbin. So everything it's like developing. It is like developing the 3D objects, and you are integrating into the scene. But if there are few objects that is not going to get interacted, then you can have a photograph kind of thing, and you can make some games and you can create your 3D scene with that. Okay, only the objects that is going to be interacted can be so this here, this 3D object fire extinguisher is the part where the user is going to interact with, right? So this object has to be designed in the proper way because it has to be interacted. So each and everything has to be taken out while playing with this. So this has to be properly designed, right? So how it works will be is that once this environment is launched, okay, so it will teach the past training for the users. Okay, there will be two things, that is replay tutorial and take me to the simulation. So replay tutorial will take the user to the training part where the user can get himself trained how to use the um, a fire extinguisher. Then once he get the proper training, okay, once he's familiar with how to use it, then if he wishes, he can go to the simulation environment, okay, where the user is given an office room kind of setup, and the fire will happen over there, and the user has to put off the fire within the limit of 7 minutes. So that is customizable. So if he is not able to, if he fails to save the room, then it will restart the application. And some gaming law principles, like to motivate the user, this time constraint has been kept. And also we can also give a score constraint. Okay, score can be given, rewards can be given, punishments can be given. So in that kind of gaming principle can be adopted to make it more interesting and also motivated into the motivated for the training. Yes, small video how this has been working.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind presentation. Ma'am, actually your session was like hands-on session, ma'am. Your gamification, your practical examples were very beautiful, ma'am. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your knowledge, ma'am. It was really like a hands-on session. It was really like a practical session, and we feel that gamification connection was really super, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you for your presentation, ma'am. And behalf of SNS College of Technology, and a special thanks from Department of Information Technology, I thank Dr. Syed Ali Fatima ma'am for her valuable time. Thank you once again, ma'am. Thank you.
Sir, I would like to show some videos of how the simulation environment works. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
I'm sharing you the video, sir.
Sure, ma'am. You can share, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Since it is a shorter period, sir, I could explain all these things. But if the time permits, I mean, if we have given 2 or more sessions more, then we would have gone with the. We cannot go with the kind of showing how to develop it. So
Yes, ma'am.
maybe we can plan some other in some other day or future program. We can plan for hands-on session where we can develop a simple application, and we can move on with that, sir.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The point you told is very apt, ma'am. If time permits, means it's very interesting, ma'am, to listen to you and to share the knowledge, and it's very useful to us, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll show you, sir. I'll show you the application. Yeah, how it works. Yeah, can you see the screen? So this is a training environment where we, there is a training environment. Where the user can learn, okay, how to use it. So this is a past training that has been given to the user with a video. So this is a fire simulation, and the user is getting training. Okay. So once he is familiar with the training, okay, he can go to the simulation environment where this office scene is created. And this gloves kind of thing, so the user is actually immersed into the scene once he wears this HMD. That user we cannot see, but as the user wears his HMD, he is getting immersed into the scene, and he feels that he is in that scene. Okay, and he can make his movements by using the joysticks, that is controller in his hand. He can use the controller to choose where you want to move, and if he click on that, he can move to that place. Okay. And now the fire happened. So now the user has to take the fire extinguisher, and he need to put off the fire. And this should happen within the time constraint that has been given. Yeah. So this is one kind of application we developed, sir. We developed. So do we have some time, some more time, so that I could also show you another application of firearm training?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. You can take more than 10 minutes, ma'am. No issues.
Yeah. So firearm training is nothing but a simulation environment where the user gets trained to use the gun shoot. Okay, so gun shoot. So it is again a virtual reality application. I'll make it short, okay, to give you a broad overview of how this application is being designed. Again, we made use of this Unreal Engine, HTC Vive, okay, Maya, Photoshop, and Substance Painter. Here, the asset we mainly used is this gun, okay. So this is a modeling we have done. So the 3D asset which we created is a gun and the simulation environment. So these are all the parts of developing a 3D game and the environment, making use of. Excuse me. Someone is speaking.
Ma'am, any doubts, ma'am? James, ma'am.
Any doubts? Okay.
Ma'am, I
So,
think.
okay. So here we'll have two things, that is start game and quit game. So this is the environment. It's a terrain environment that we developed. Okay. So here what we'll do is initially we have planned to have some objects moving forward, that is the person moving forward, and it is a military environment where the user has to attack the enemies. Okay, so this is the environment that is being created. So so to make it more engaged and to give a gamification approach, will as the user shoots one enemies, the score will be given, and also as the time goes, okay, the enemies will be moving forward faster. So this is what we have planned, and so this is the environment where the user will be using the hand controller. Can you see the hand controller? So this is a head mounted display, and using the hand controller, this user will completely immerse into the environment to play the game. So I'll show you a video of this. So is my video visible? So this is the environment that has been developed. It's a 3D scene. It's a 360-degree scene. Initially, player score is 0. And as he enters into the game, so this is the okay, attackers who is moving forward. And as he shoots, okay, the player score will get increasing. As the time moves on, so this enemies will be moving forward faster. Okay, this is a kind of simulation to give a firearm training where the real gun cannot be given to the public use and to train. Okay, this kind of environment we can create, and we can give it to the army or military to train the users before handling with the original guns. Yes, now it has been increased, and the player score also it's increasing if it is properly shooting. Yes. So there are so many applications that can be developed with the help of this AR and VR simulation environment. Like nowadays, it is getting more familiar in the shopping environment, where we have online shopping with the VR apps, right? So we can have a like furniture apps and all, it's coming, right? So where we can select the picture and choose the location where we need to place the furniture. If it is fits on, then like IKEA, you have a IKEA furniture app where you can select the furniture and the location in your house, and you can see how the furniture fits into your location or place, so that you will have the real feel out of it, and if you wish, you can buy. Yes, so we can also adjust the dimensions out of it and so on. So this is VR AR applications that has been developed, like AR books, okay, then furniture apps. Then we have this dressing apps and makeup apps, like virtual reality, where the user can see a virtual mirror. There can be a virtual mirror in the shopping centers, where the user can get immersed into the mirrors, and he can pick out the, I mean, virtual dress or virtual makeup sets to apply over him and see him or her, to see how he or she will look virtually when wearing or applying that makeup or dressing sense, right? So those kind of application will really help the public to see virtually what happens when we do that, or when we apply some costumes or like that, and we can buy of our own choice. Yes, so these kind of applications will help. And as I said, AR application is mostly helping in medical rehabilitation field. My field of study is applying this augmented reality in the field of upper stroke rehabilitation for the stroke patients. So I have developed three gamified approach for training the people with the upper limb disability. And when the user gets trained, okay, his hand movements and things will get recorded, based on which this will be stored in the database, and based on which I have developed also a mobile decision support system that can be handled by the doctor. Okay, he can track the patient's performance and also give some suggestions over mobile. So this kind of application, it's been developed as my PhD study. Okay, so that is using augmented reality for medical rehabilitation with a mobile decision support system. Yeah. So like this, we can extend this kind of application or a lot of application domains. So we can develop small applications to enhance But the thing is, the development. We need to initially it will be a struggle to learn these things, but as we move on, it will become quite interesting to apply this kind of applications over different domains and see how it can be. I mean, how it will be useful. Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, sir. If you have any doubts, you could ask me now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Professors, if you have any doubts, you can post it now.
Yes, I have used the platform Unity for my for AR applications, but this kind of application, right? This VR firearm and simulation, VR fire extinguisher, fire safety training, Unreal Engine is used. Unreal, like a Unity software. There is another software, gaming software. It is called as Unreal Engine, where you can integrate all your. There is another question. Necessary data sets during PhD work. Actually, I created the data set because using that application which I created, okay, so it is using like Kinect. There is a device called as Kinect, okay, that comes with the Windows API. So Kinect is a sensor that is used to track the human skeletal image and skeletal image. Okay, for upper limb alone, I have used that, and I have developed 3 games. Okay, simple games for the stroke patients to use it. Okay, so while the patient use that for training, the data set will be automatically generated. Okay. So this another question, how you had created background image. So this is the feature that is coming along with the Microsoft, okay, Teams. So when you enter into the Teams, join meeting, there will be a option that will be shown you when you switch on the camera. Do you wish to use the background image? There you can select the any background setup and you can use it. Yes. Yes, thank you. Any
Thank
other?
you, ma'am.
Yes.
I hope there's no any other questions, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
Yeah.
for your time, ma'am. You have answered from a basic question to a complex question, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for the patience listening, and I hope this would be interesting and informative to you. There are a lot of things to get explored with this technology because it is emerging. So you can encourage your students to explore this technology with the help of our student teams. Also, we can learn more and more things because this will make the students also to get interested. But not all the students will come; only few will come. So if we are able to make a team of at least 10 to 15 student teams who are developing these kind of application, that will be wonderful. But we need to give a support with these kind of devices, like one or at least one or two devices at our institution, so that the students can explore and develop these kind of applications. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Have a great day. Thank you all. May I leave the session, sir?
Yes, ma'am. You can leave the session, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Participants, thank you for your patience listening, and this session is getting over by now, and we are expecting back your presence by 11:45 p.m. Sorry, it's 11:45 a.m. and we'll start the session by exactly 11:45. Thank you, professors. Thank you for joining with us in this session. Thank you.